Amy, best offering last night. Who'd you like the best?
Come on. Do you even have to ask? See, Melania Trump. A mother, son's the same age, and she knows what it feels like. That life has been hell because of COVID.
I want to acknowledge the fact that since March, our lives have changed drastically. The invisible enemy, COVID-19, swept across our beautiful country and impacted all of us. My deepest sympathy.
All right, I could see you're getting bored over there. Do you want to talk about our outfit?
I mean, thank you. That's.
In the I know you don't care category.
Well, it's fine. It's just, it's stating the obvious.
No, she's just, and then she made her case for why we should elect Donald Trump for 4 more years.
No, she's fine.
She's
fine.
lovely.
She's fine. And she's a lovely first lady and all that stuff. But it's just, that's not, that's not.
Well, Abby Johnson was good. Nick Sandmann was good, but I loved Pam Bondi. I thought she really stuck it to the Bidens about his bad behavior. Well, that needed to be reminded. People that are just tuning in and undecided voters, they need to know about his past.
I get it. There's utility. So that's a utility player.
Yeah, and she's a closer. Former attorney general.
I actually think the closer was another attorney general. His name is Daniel Cameron from Kentucky. And he was good both on the case against Biden, particularly with the race hustle that the left is continuing to try to perpetrate, as well as just sort of the larger story of America as a land of opportunity, coming from 34-year-old black gentleman who's the first African-American attorney general in Kentucky's history.
Even as anarchists mindlessly tear up American cities while attacking police and innocent bystanders, we Republicans do recognize those who work in good faith towards peace, justice, and equality. In fact, it was General Dwight Eisenhower, a future Republican president, who said democracy is a system that recognizes the equality of humans before the law. Whether you are the family of Breonna Taylor or David Dorn, these are the ideals that will heal our nation's wounds.
Yeah, I really...
Republicans will never turn a blind eye to unjust acts, but neither will we accept an all-out assault on Western civilization.
Perfect balance coming from a law enforcement officer. Perfect invocation. Breonna Taylor, if that's a case that's problematic. So was the murder of David Dorn in St. Louis. Remember David Dorn, the police officer in St. Louis? Mm-hmm. Thankfully, Daniel Cameron did, because nobody else has throughout this. Certainly that wasn't part of the DNC, but David Dorn's name being invoked. And the point to say, injustice over here is a problem, but so is injustice over here. And he just struck the perfect balance there in response. Also on Biden. To me, Tim Scott was excellent on Monday night, as we talked about yesterday. This was even a better takedown of Biden and the race hustle.
I also think about Joe Biden, who says, if you aren't voting for me, you ain't black, who argued that Republicans would put us back in chains, who says there is no diversity of thought in the black community. Mr. Vice President, look at me. I am black. We are not all the same, sir. I am not in chains. My mind is my own. And you can't tell me how to vote because of the color of my skin. Joe Biden is a backwards thinker in a world that is craving forward-looking leadership. There's no wisdom in his record or plan, just a trail of discredited ideas and offensive statements.
Yeah.
It was good.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Elizabeth Harrington. She's a national spokesperson for the RNC. Elizabeth, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Good choice with Daniel Cameron there. His election made some news back when he won, when he was victorious, but we haven't heard much from him on a national stage. There's a guy who belongs on a national stage.
Incredible speech, incredible story, and what a takedown, like you said. And just laying out the truth. Last night, all of it went so well together, and it really was about appearing to our better angels. That's what AG Cameron said, too. He said, what is this all about? And from our great First Lady's speech, from the ceremony of 5 new American citizens that the Biden campaign apparently thinks it's an empty gesture. That's how little they value our citizenship. Well, clearly because they just want open borders and want to destroy the foundation of the country. But it's all about the American dream and a better life and healing and bringing people together and bringing law enforcement and people who have a redemptive story. Like we saw the kicking off the night with John Ponder, who now is best friends with the FBI agent who arrested him and has turned his life around from a life of crime. I mean, that is the American story. And it really goes across party lines. It's about what our country is. It's not what they said it was last week at the DNC. Our president is not who they said he was last week at the DNC either. And that's really coming through to Americans who sit through and watch this whole thing, because it's really just about the ideals of our country.
That is. And it's funny to me, the criticism of the naturalization ceremony, for example, as a political stunt. By the way, this is a political parties convention.
Yeah, hello.
Oh my, there's politics going on at the RNC? What the?
No.
So shocking. I'm offended. No, number one. Number two is you're only allowed to present the caricature of Donald Trump that the D.C. press corps has presented for the last 4 years. You're not allowed to present anything consistent with who he actually is, what he's actually done, the people he's actually interacted with, the people he's actually helped. That seems to be the argument. That's not particularly persuasive. What's persuasive is seeing him interact in a real way with people, even if it's set up, even if it's been orchestrated. That's still a relationship that he has with people who voluntarily came to participate in supporting President Trump, and there's just no getting around that.
Well, exactly, and he does this all the time. This is who he is. He does reach out to people. He is a man of great character. He wouldn't have run for president if he wasn't. He cares about the country. He really does. And that's what this is all about, a better life of opportunity. That was the theme last night. And our First Lady laid it out as well. She fled communism. We have prime times. We've had multiple primetime speakers at our convention who have fled communism. DNC had multiple primetime speakers who praised communist regimes, like Bernie Sanders, who honeymooned in the Soviet Union, Barack Obama, who tried to normalize relations and praised communist Cuba. I mean, this is the divide, really. And if you look at Tiffany Trump gave an amazing speech with talking about whatever our ideals are. And you might not know it or not. If you're just listening to the caricature that you see on the biased media just look at their faces. They're not having a great night.
No, I mean, their hair's on fire because their convention was nothing at all like this.
Right.
And so when you had the presidential pardon, the naturalization ceremony, what could President Trump possibly do tonight or even on Thursday?
It's amazing. I mean, the first night was incredible. I didn't think we could top it because there's still surprises each night. We're holding very close to the chest, but okay. I mean, they topped it last night. It was incredible, and just watching the values that we all share, and it really was about strength too. It was about going your own way in America, thinking for yourself. Nicholas Sandmann, what a great speech. They tried to ruin this kid's life, and they were still, Joe Lockhart, former press secretary for Clinton. These people have lost their minds, still attacking him. It's absolutely pathetic. But that's what it was last night. It was strength. It was living in this country. America is strong. We are free. And we love this country, and it's worth defending. And just going through all of the issues that we care about, laying out our policy positions and showing how it benefits. Not to mention that other amazing moment of Officer Hulitz, who was also at the State of the Union, but saved baby Hope, who was born to a mother in drug addiction, and he adopted this baby and also helped the mother now get sober. That's what we need. America is a story about second chances. And
I like that. I like the stories of, not to, with all due respect, the stories that are featuring three-dimensional human beings, not politicians. Real people that telling real stories, real lives that are being led. Not that some politicians aren't also living real lives. Some are. So will it be on Wednesday night or Thursday night that Trump unveils the vaccine for COVID?
An October surprise in August.
Thursday.
Should okay. So we got to watch to the end of the convention. And now,
remember what Biden said last week? No miracles coming. It's like, wow, that's really
gloom and doom.
It's an amazing,
honestly,
amazing statement from a guy who was tasked by the previous president to cure cancer too. By the way.
Right.
Thoughts? Any other? Any indications? Like maybe I don't like a cage match between Trump and George Conway while Kellyanne is speaking. Any sort of he's a WWE WWF guy. Any sort of over the top aspects that we may yet enjoy.
It's been a very. It was really epitomized with our first lady in the Rose Garden, but it's been such a elegant affair throughout this. And you mentioned the bill. They're so upset at using the White House. It's like, well, maybe don't. They don't care about using the White House to plot and spy and sabotage your duly elected successor, like Obama and Biden did from the Oval Office. I mean, this idea that people aren't political in politics is so absurd, and they are just speaking about their views, about what they feel about the country. And I think the whole production has been great. It's been smooth. But more importantly, though, it's been the substance. It doesn't really matter if you taped your speech, during that day. Maybe don't do it like 2 weeks early like Michelle Obama did and couldn't even be bothered to mention Kamala from Martha's Vineyard.
I mean, that is unacceptable.
But it's the content. It's totally unacceptable. And especially when you view American lives as just a number and you can't even update that number that you're going to wield against your political opponents. I mean, talk about nasty. Talk about really just so offensive. And couldn't be bothered to update it from Martha's Vineyard. I think it's so telling. Yeah. But all of our speeches of these just average Americans speaking from the heart and telling the truth. Have you ever seen such a powerful message in the stance for life? Have you ever seen it? And that was for the national media to see. It was for Democrats who have written in their party platform now, late-term abortion, taxpayer-funded. That was so powerful just to speak the truth about what it is. And I'm telling you, it is moving when you just speak the truth and you speak the truth about this country. And I think the Democrats were down and out. They were so dreary. They were so down on this country, just like the mobs that were seeking to destroy it and destroying their own cities. We have a choice in this election. There is a better way, and it's been laid out every single night. And I can't believe it's only been 2 nights. There's 2 more to go. But it's just been incredible contrast and an incredible real celebration of all of our country is. We are a good country. We're not what they say we are.
The substance has been good, but that closing scene at the White House with Trump and Melania walking away after she had given her speech, that was very well produced. That's great theater.
Well, the lighting, the cinematography, the music. I mean, it's all wrapped together in a beautiful package.
And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. There's nothing wrong with
fine.
Good production value.
Exactly. They had Hollywood producing theirs, and it was so boring.
Theirs was awful.
Yeah.
It was so unfunny. I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I think she's great, but it's
awful.
just sad when your material is terrible.
Yeah.
There was nothing she could do about it. It was so unfunny, and you're right. Of course, you want to put on a good show. You want it to look great. We're trying to win people's minds here. We want to win their votes. We want to earn their votes.
Yeah, well, they made a mistake when they tried to have those actresses interview people. That fell flat. And then Mike Pence yesterday was interviewing Everyday Americans, and he did such an amazing job. He should win an Emmy.
Little Jordan from Indiana with the right to try. What a great story. That is hope, and we should have hope as Americans. We've been through so many challenges before. Why would we give up hope now? Oh, we just have to hide in our basement till big government comes to save us. That is not who we are as Americans. It never has been, and there's so many inspiring stories to tell. We've only gotten 2 days down, 2 more to go. We've got a lot of accomplishments to go as well. We haven't covered everything that this president said he was going to do and has followed through on. We're going to keep on hearing more of that, and also more about the second-term agenda. But it is important to show that other side of President Trump as well, that the media will never show. And he is a great family man. He really loves this country. And he does the small gestures to reach out, to make the phone call, to be there for people when they have a tragedy strike. Or he'll make that phone call, and he's there for them. He is the president of all Americans. That's why he did it. He loves the country, and we think our vision is better. We know it works better in practice. That's why we're actually talking about what we achieved. Democrats, what can they say? They can't point to their handiwork in Minneapolis or New York City, or all these cities that they're adopting the Biden-Harris agenda of high taxes and anti-energy and lawlessness. Look at the crime rates. That is what they can't tout it. They didn't even mention what's happening in our cities that they all run, because they can't, because their agenda is they have to try to sell it with a lie, with the nice swamp stories, with these speeches from people in the past. And also another contrast that we saw this week, we have so many young voices. We have so many young people in our party. It is a big tent party. And what Sean Parnell said on Monday night, which was very powerful, come on over. We need freedom-loving patriots. One thing you'll know, you'll be free. You can think for yourself in our party.
She is Elizabeth Harrington, RNC National Spokesperson. Elizabeth, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And don't forget that we'll have full coverage of the 2020 RNC tonight beginning at 7 p.m. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem will be there, as well as Kellyanne Conway and Mike Pence will be speaking.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
My wife and I have had this conversation 700 times. Honey, where would you like to go for dinner? Oh, I don't care. Whatever you think. Okay, how about Restaurant 1? Oh, no, definitely not Restaurant 1.